right shoulder really, really bad, and with my neck. And I was trying to perform the best that I could, and I was traveling everywhere that I could. And I was wrestling literally 4 times a week, being hurt. And the problem was, you know, when you're in with the adrenaline and when you have the show, nothing hurts. But then when you try to go to sleep, when you try to go to bed, it's when you
and work the next day.
Yeah, and the reality is that, and not being able to literally move your neck, even to, it got really serious to the point that I think I spent like 5 days straight that I couldn't sleep at all, and I went to the doctor and they took MRIs and everything out, and we ended up taking the decision that, you know, for the baby that it was coming, and that I wanted to spend more time with the family, being actually able to spend the time and not just being in pain all the time. So I took care of that. I took care of my shoulder. I took care of my neck. Then Larry and Herb actually invited me back to do color commentator as a color commentator for SICW. And we did it for a couple of months until Travis started getting on my face until I ended up saying, okay, let's.
Not a good idea to get in Ricky Cruz's face. Not a good idea, Travis.
From once I was back on SICW, then the other companies started calling me, and now I'm back in pretty much every company in the Midwest, and going back to Chicago in a bit, and going to New York and Puerto Rico, and starting back all over again.
So I'm curious, was there ever a time during your temporary retirement that you thought it might be real, like that this might be it? Was there ever a moment where you, in your mind, were like, yeah, I'm done? And if so, how much more special does it feel now that you're back?
Well, when I retired, I didn't think I was going to come back.
Wow.
I mean, I wasn't planning on, okay, I'm getting better and let's back in. I think it's something that happened. I went to help out in one of the training sessions, and the guys were like, dude, you should be wrestling.
You still got it.
And I dropped so much weight. And I got a lot healthier, you know? So, like when I left, I was 310 pounds, and right now I'm 255.
Wow,
so,
dude.
Like I'm in way better condition, and then to have the opportunity to come back to the places that I started, like SICW, like MMWA, and going back to Dynamo, having the opportunity to wrestle guys that are like in their prime, and actually, like, for example, last week I wrestled Mike Outlaw and ended up beating him for the D1 belt. So I ended up becoming the Grand Slam of the company because I've held every single belt that they've had. And in MMWA, I got the opportunity to be the champion now, which I never had before. So if everything goes the way that I want, and we can get this win on the 25th, I'm going to be the first person that ever hold the SICW and the MWA, which are two companies that work in each side of the river. Let's put it that way.
Right.
And to be the first person to ever hold both belts at the same time, it would be great. It would be special.
Wow. So there's a possibility that you could hold 3 titles from 3 separate companies that all, in one way or another, sometimes they compete against each other. That speaks a lot to the respect that you have, Ricky, and that's why I'm always really excited. And I was very excited. I know Joe can probably attest when the announcement was made that you were going to come back as a trainer, or when you were, I think it was, you probably remember this, Ricky, when I went down to East Carondelet, you were managing Keith Smith Jr. So it was right before you got back into the ring. And I looked over at my buddy John and Jimmy. I was like, hey, guys, there's a chance. And sure enough, bro, about 2-3 weeks later, the announcement was made that you were going to be making your return. And I was very, very happy, bro. And now you're doing Dynamo. You know, they just had the Cinco de Mayo, which was a huge success. And then Ride on the River's coming up on the 14th. Do you know if you're going to be competing at Ride on the River in June?
Well, I'm in negotiations of what date, because like I said, the 3 companies have me very busy right now.
Yeah.
But I'm making my return to MBW soon too. So
Wow.
to New Breed. So it's gonna be my house right now. The ones that brought me back, the ones that I'm gonna be in every show is SICW. That's those are what brought me back.
That's
so
home.
I'm loyal to that.
Gotcha.
But for example, tomorrow night in Gateway Harley Davidson, it's a Harley Davidson place that is near my where I live. Dynamo is going to have an amazing show. I'm sure the search is going to talk about of that a little bit later on. But we're going to be there tomorrow night, and then Saturday night I might or might not be in New Breed.
Okay.
So it's a lot of we're trying to do some surprises, and we're trying to do some cool things for the fans in the Midwest. And little by little, you'll find out more. But right now, my goal is training hard, helping in the Ace Academy, which is the Bob Orton School. I'm training there every Tuesday. I'm the trainer, and helping the guys to learn not only American style, but Mexican and Japanese style all together. Trying to make something different out of the new breed of wrestlers. And then, like I said, training hard for May 25th, because that night is very special to me, not only because I'm going for the belt, but we're honoring Larry Mattisek, who was a mentor to me. And I am not going to let Steve Fender and Travis have the last laugh on this show.
Yeah, you cannot let those guys ruin it, Ricky, because it's a huge show. I think people from around the country make the trip to SICW around this time of year for their Larry Mattisek and Bruiser Brody memorial. Now, you were talking about training a second ago, so let me pick your brain, because here on the Wrestle Talk podcast, we don't always talk to like the top cream of the crop, such as yourself, right? Because like when it comes to this area, you're one of the top guys. You could be in the same conversation with some of the other top champions in the area. But I know, having the opportunity to travel as much as you do now within your region, there's got to be some guys or girls that you have seen since you returned that have you excited, because no matter how deep you get into the lucha business, I think you always remain a fan. So could you throw out maybe a couple of names of some of the younger talent out there, maybe like a Jaden Roller or a Kurt Gannon that you're seeing that you think have a very good possibility of carrying that flag moving forward for pro wrestling in the Midwest, Ricky?
Well, to be honest, names that I can mention to you, they might be not new guys, but when you talk about the best in the Midwest, you have so many guys, man, and it depends on what you look for. Because legends like Gary Jackson, they're still doing it after so many years and wrestle every single company, WCW, WWF, every single company, independent around. But when you talk about young veterans, my first one would be Wyatt. Wyatt, he got in better shape than ever. When I came back and I saw him, I was very impressed. Congratulations on him. He has a baby that just got born. I think it was today.
Yes.
Today or yesterday. So Wyatt, congratulations on him on that. Mike Outlaw, I think that if he keeps, he's focused, he's going to be one of the names to look for in the future. You're going to end up seeing him in WWE or NXT or something if he keeps focused. When it comes to girls, Savannah Stone, that's the name in everybody's mouth.
Yes.
Very talented, very young. So she's so young that when the time comes that she's, like 24, 25, that she's going to be one of the top female wrestlers in the world.
Well, and Ricky, let me stop you right there, because I know that as a trainer, your reputation is somewhat, and you are very versatile as a trainer, but you do have, as far as your mentality, it's a little bit of an old school mentality. So I'm curious to see what you think. So this weekend, Demarius Jones 2.0, who's a very talented young man, I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, is going to be facing Savannah Stone over at WOE with our friend Ken Rock, the landlord. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about there. How do you feel about that? Because this is something that just happened last year. The Athletic Commission in Missouri decided to allow intergender matches, and some of these companies are taking advantage of the opportunity, bro. I'm curious, what does a veteran like you think about the ladies getting their chance against some of the boys?
Usually I will be against it, but with Savannah, I don't have that issue. Savannah reminds me of Elise Velez when we were training in Puerto Rico. She can hang with the boys. Actually, in the Cinco de Mayo, she actually wrestled 2 guys. So I think she could hang. I don't think that the Mayor should take her lightly, because she could surprise him if he doesn't take her seriously.
Oh, that's great to hear, ladies and gentlemen. If a guy like Ricky Cruz is co-signing it and saying that it's a good idea, I guarantee you that it is a wonderful idea. Well, listen, I don't want to take up the remainder of the time. Joe, I know you've been getting your last couple of questions ready, man. So why don't you jump back in here with our first featured guest of the evening, Ricky Cruz.
Absolutely. Once again, Ricky, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come talk to us tonight. We definitely appreciate it. So, the one question that I had was recently for SICW, you wrestled in a cage match against a guy by the name of Monster Kowalski. Can you tell us about Monster Kowalski and what it was like to wrestle him?
It was a very difficult match. Kowalski is a 400-pound guy. It's not easy to do much to a guy like that. What can I tell you? We broke the cage. We ended up breaking the cage. At the end of the match, I threw an elbow that I haven't thrown in like 12 years, flying elbow, which I loved, because you get that feeling that I can still do it, you know. And I got a pretty cool big picture that a fan sent me about me in the air throwing that elbow. So I appreciate that. But it was a hard match. We even started brawling way before the match started, before we even got into the cage. So I'm just grateful that I got the opportunity to win, and that we had an amazing turnout. We were full to the gills in that show. So the fundraiser was a success.
That's awesome, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm upset that I kind of missed that. So my next question before we go to the shoot and shout segment, one of the people that you mentioned was Bruiser Brody, and since the a TV show Dark Side of the Ring came out, with the story about Bruiser Brody, he was a pretty famous wrestler in Puerto Rico. What are your thoughts on Bruiser Brody?
What are my thoughts on Bruiser Brody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Bruiser Brody was, how can I put it? Like, I think he was so ahead of his time, mentality-wise, and what he was doing, that if he was alive today, he would have been 3 times bigger than he was. And talking about Brody being big, he was the person when it comes to wrestling in Japan. And he was a huge name in the States. And he was super big in Puerto Rico. So to say that he would be even bigger, it's a big statement. Now, his mentality when it comes to the matches was great. There was no one to compare him to. That he was bar none the best at what he did. It was sad what happened, obviously. I don't even know what to say when you hear the whole story, because I got to work with both, with Carlos Colon's company and Invader One and all those people. And then when you hear all these stories, it's like a weird feeling that you get, right?
Right.
But then, I had the opportunity to meet Barbara and his wife, and had a great time. And now she keeps in touch, and she's always looking on pictures of my son that we post, and she's very close. And I'm so glad and happy that she's going to be here for this Bruiser Brody Memorial, and I'll have the opportunity to see her and spend some time with her again. So I would have loved to have the opportunity to meet him. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but I think he was very special. When you talk of people like that, there's not a lot of people that you can say they were ahead of the time. Like, I think if you mention guys, I would say Kurt Hennig Paul Orndorff, Shawn Michaels are people that I think that they were ahead of their time and that they would have made a lot of money if they were still or working now in the business.
Hey, Joe, let me jump in here real quick because I do want to get Ricky's thoughts on this, and it just piggybacking on your question. Ricky, if anybody understands the pro wrestling culture in Puerto Rico, it's you. I don't know if you saw it or have heard the stories or whatever. Do you believe that the way that they told the story about the fans in Puerto Rico was real? The throwing the rocks and people just, you have to leave there with security. Is all that just from your personal experience being a Puerto Rican? Do you believe that that's true, or do you think some of that stuff is exaggerated?
I mean, cultural wise, people is not like that. Like, we're not aggressive people, but in the wrestling shows, when wrestling was kayfabe, when wrestling was, what it was, in Puerto Rico, they did some extreme stuff, like the wrestlers. So, of course, the fans took it like it was real and personal and whatnot. I can give you an example that you can look up in YouTube. There was a time that, I don't know if you remember Conan.
Of course, man.
He came with a mariachi in the ring to play a song to Carlos Colon's daughter. And in the middle of the song, he grabbed his guitar, turned his
that's a bad idea.
Flat on the face. Now, mind this, the guitar was not worked. So he grabbed a complete, real 100% guitar and hit this lady on the top of the head. So she got knocked out and she got split like she was bleeding. When the crowd see this and see that this is not a show, this is legit. So they had to call special forces and riot control and everything because they were going to kill this guy. Like it was that.
Wow.
So this thing that, like, if you hear Roddy Piper had got stabbed one time in one of the shows, but that wasn't in Puerto Rico. But that's what I mean. Like, yes, Latin arenas were a lot more crazy because they believed in what was going on 100%. So obviously there are some people that exaggerate when they say, because they were not that big of a deal for the fans. But there's people like, if you tell me Abdullah the Butcher told you that story, Brody told you that story, or people like that really, really riled up fans, I would tell you, yeah, probably it's true. But not like, there are some wrestlers today that I hear saying, oh, I went to Puerto Rico and they threw the batteries of their cameras or whatnot. I'm like, dude, let's start with this. There's no cameras in the shows. People use their cell phones.
Stop lying.
You know what I mean? Like, people want to
stop lying. That's funny.
Yeah.
Joe, sorry for interrupting, man. Why don't you go ahead and jump back in?
Oh, no. It is perfectly okay. And I guess that my last question I wanted to ask Ricky before we go to shoot and shout is, you've been in the wrestling business for quite some time. How do you feel that the wrestling business has changed over time?
I think that when I started, it was more real. More real in the fact that it was a lot more brawling and fighting and really using holds and really, right. More Japan style, let's put it that way. More now you see a lot of flips and flip here and flip there and moonsault here and moonsault there, and like it looks more like a dance or like a circus act. Don't get me wrong, I am not knocking on the people that do it, because you have to have an amazing ability and a crazy amount of talent to do all these things. But it's different from when I started to where they are now. And I don't know. There's some fans that like that kind of stuff, and there's people like me that like to see professional wrestler like the people that I just mentioned, like Kurt Hennig, like Orndorff, like Brody, like Abdullah. Like let's see who can really fight and win this match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Renee, is there any more questions you wanted to ask before we kick it to the shoot and shout section?
Yeah, you know what? I do have one last question. And Ricky, next time you come on, you want to talk about Latins being crazy. Back in 1994, I went to a Mexico versus Colombia exhibition at the old Orange Bowl in Miami. And I'll tell that story next time. But listen, you and I, we got to talk about it because that was, you want to talk about Latin people getting crazy. There's 80. Okay, never mind. I'll save that story for next time, but you're going to want to hear that one. Okay. So make sure that you leave your schedule open in a couple of months so we can bring you back on and I can tell you that story because I think you'll really enjoy it. But my final actual question for this, what'd you say, Ricky?
I said you don't need to open my schedule, man. For you guys, I'm always open.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, but you are busy, so that's a good thing. You know what I mean? And we love to hear that. I guess my final question is: you did just come back from my homeland. You did come back from Mexico, and I love how much love you have for Mexico because in the past Puerto Ricans and Mexicans we don't always get along, but you found a way to integrate yourself with the luchadors, and they have a lot of affinity for you, and I know you have a huge passion for Mexican wrestling. Just this week, we actually started the show with it. The announcement was made that Silver King passed away during an event over in London. Can you maybe talk to us about Silver King? And if you don't know that much about him, can you talk to us about how important that influence has been of Latin wrestlers, not just Mexican, but Latin wrestlers in the professional wrestling business? Because truly, even today, we're seeing that. Seth Rollins, Colby Lopez, he's Latin descent. Of course, Rey Mysterio, Alberto a few years ago. Now Andrade Cien Almas is dating the #1 lady in the company. So can you talk to us about that Latin influence and maybe if you have some thoughts on Silver King?
Well, about Silver King, I can tell you that when I did my first tour in Mexico, he was the first person that I actually wrestled. And not only that, but he was the first, him and Veneno. Veneno is a wrestler from Panama that ended up staying in Mexico. And I think he's like 14 or 15 years now in Mexico. And he went for like 2 weekends. To wrestle 2 weekends, and he's been there for.
And he stayed.
Veneno and Silver King were the ones that took me everywhere, that made sure that I was safe, that made sure that, okay, after this time, don't go that place, or, that Mexico, you have to know where you go and what time, in certain areas, right? And they took care of me in a great way, not only in the ring, but outside the ring, and always will be thankful for that. I was super sad. I found out hours after that happened. I was sitting down, getting ready to wrestle in MMWA, and I got out of the building, went to my car, and really tried to, calm down because it really got me. But Latin wrestlers in the world, like, man, I don't even know how to explain it. We have a different way of seeing things, and we're always like more explosive. And I don't mean that in like we do more than other people. It's just that our reaction it's more explosive. That's the word that I could use. If you see Rey Mysterio, you see that he maybe does the same moves that other people, but it's just that explosiveness, that feeling, that. Man, Eddie Guerrero said it better. That Latino heat that we have, that other people get infatuated about it. A friend of mine used to say the Latin people is the seasoning that God threw all over the world to give flavor to the world. And I always stuck with that because it is true. At the end of the day, it don't matter if you're Puerto Rican, Mexican, Colombian, Venezuelan, Chileno, I don't care what you are, you always bring that little seasoning to where you go.
Wow, I love to hear that. Well, on that note, we want to see if we can fire you up, Ricky. I know you got a big passion, a lot of heart, and a lot of Latino heat. So let's go ahead, and you've done this with us before, so you don't need us to explain. Ladies and gentlemen, let's close out this interview with a segment we always do about this time. Let's get into tonight's edition of the Shoot and Shout segment. Intern Timmy, hit the music.
just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. Everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify. If someone's head off, you know you make contact. And if you interact, your life is on contract. You best bet it. Stay away.
Woo!
Jonesy, you want to kick?
All right.
Hey, Jonesy, why don't you go ahead and kick us off? I'll go second, and we'll let the King of Chaos close us out.
All right. So what's pissing me off is last week all the issues that we had with the microphone, trying to get the new audio going, make the audio sound better, and everything was just screwed up. The whole audio was screwed up from the beginning. Luckily, we were able to get it going, and everything turned out okay. But what pissed me off is the first 4 minutes of Blog Talk Radio last week.
Well, you know what, Josie, that kind of pissed me off as well. But you know who's got me pissed off today? Amazon. And listen, we're looking for new sponsors. So I'm going to try to take it easy. But Amazon, no, you know what? This isn't even about Amazon. This is about every single cell phone company and Amazon. Why do you feel like I no longer need the little block to connect my cord? Has anybody noticed that when you buy anything these days, they don't give you a block anymore? They just give you the cord, and they're like, oh, we assume you got about 100 of these at your house anyway, so we're not going to give you one. Well, guess what? If I'm going to buy an iPhone XR, which I'm going to be in debt for 6 years paying this piece of crap, at least give me the damn block. How are you going to just give me a cord, man? How do you know that I have another block sitting around? What makes you so sure? Damn it, Apple. You're robbing me already. I'm paying more for this damn phone than I pay for my rent, and you can't even give me a damn charging block. I appreciate the cord. It's a very nice cord. I love the phone. It's very beautiful, but I need a block. I need somewhere to plug it in, and I don't like plugging it into my computer because it always connects to iTunes, and then it makes it update, and it just gives me a headache. Listen, it's contra indios. That means it's like, you know, I'm like a native person that doesn't understand. Give me the damn charger block, or I'm switching to Android, damn it. Ricky Cruz, please give us your shoot shot tonight. I'm all excited now. I'm sweaty and stuff. Damn.
All right, I'm not pissed about much because everything, you know, God is blessing me this month. But I'll tell you what, I am pissed about having to wait another week for this show. Having to wait another week for May 25th, that pisses me off because I wish it was tomorrow. I wish it was tonight so we can get this over with and we can start celebrating and make something special this month wrestling.
That's right. Basically, Ricky Cruz is saying this. Steve Fender, your ass is grass, dude. Done deal. It's over. And Rick, you got plenty of room for more gold, right? You've held 3 or 4 or 5 championships before, so doing it again is not difficult for you, correct?
We'll do our best.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, an honor and a pleasure to have on our amigo, our hermano from La Isla Bonita, Ricky Cruz. Ricky, before you go, man, last thing, tell people where you're going to be the next couple of weekends so they know where to catch you live, and then also how they can follow you on social media.
All right, you can follow me on social media on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter with Ricky Cruz STL. I'm going to be tomorrow night at the Gateway Harley Davidson store. And then on Saturday, I'm going back to New Breed Wrestling. And then the show that everybody is talking about is May 25th, the Bruce Brody and Larry Madison Memorial in East-Carondelet, Illinois. That will be all for May. And then we got like 6 more shows in June. But if you want to follow and know where I am, just follow me on Facebook, Ricky Cruz STL.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the first featured guest segment. Ricky, thank you very much, man. Grace and peace to you, and we will talk to you down the road, man.
All right, thank you.
Say goodnight, Jonesy.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace, Ricky. Thanks, man.
Jonesy, why don't you take us to break, man?
Oh, my goodness. All right, I will definitely take us to break. Let's see here. What can we play? Here you go. Denton, tell me, get that music for us.
Yo, what up? Night Owl, Nightmare Jones. What up, Wrestle Talk fam? Do it for y'all. Check me out. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. Even them haters can't hate us no more. So unlock your door, cause we got some more. Every Wednesday we here, keep it raw. Night Owl, Nightmare Jones, and all best guests. Like a double barrel pointed right at your chest. WrestleTalkspodcast.com. Smashing and killing it like the night of the prom.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, what a great song. What a first hour. We are back, and it is time.
Jonesy.
Fantasy.
Jonesy. So, quick story. My son listened to the show a couple of weeks ago when you played that. And you know what we FWWC coming up next. Adrian Surgeon, 15 minutes. And thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. Again, we're giving a t-shirt away. Seth Rollins t-shirt. Subscribe. Share. If you subscribe and hit the bell, you might take this t-shirt home. But anyway, so excuse me. My son was like, "Hey, Dad," he's like, "I really love that rap you did. Was it a freestyle?" I said, "Yeah, it was a freestyle." He said, "You didn't write down or nothing?" And I go, No. That was just a freestyle. It was short, something I did for fun. And he goes, Cool. He's like, "I liked it." Remember, my son's 9 going on 10, so he's kind of getting to that age. And he goes, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, there's one thing I didn't understand." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Right at the end, you say smashing it, killing it like the night of the prom. What does that mean?" Bro, dude, I swear, I looked at him right in the eye and I was like,
Got him.
Oh, bro, I was like, "Look, son, this is what I said." And my son knows about me. There's certain topics and conversations that I can't have with him. There's certain movies that we can't watch together yet, like Scarface, for example. We actually just started watching some Rambo movies. So I looked at him and I said, "Son, that's one of those things that you and me will have to talk about a few years down the road." And he said he understood, but I think he knew that it meant that it was something fairly inappropriate. So For those of you who still don't know what that means, good for you. You have a cleaner mind than me and Jonesy, because we both clearly know exactly what that means. Ain't that right, Jonesy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All that said, Jonesy, I'll tell you, I'm going to drop it one more time. I know you're trying to jump in and do your thing, Joe, but I just want to make sure I bring the attention once again to this FWWC hardcore title. I'm temporarily borrowing it. It was left here at the FWWC headquarters by El Mata himself so that everybody could be sure to see it. Promise to get it all cleaned up for him or whatever, man. But let's hear from the members of the FWWC, Jonesy, because there's a lot that's been going on both on the red and blue brand, and I have it on good authority that we got a lot of people that are ready to come on, fire off, and talk some serious trash.
But yes, absolutely. Before we do that, there was one thing I wanted to say, and that is I wanted to say congratulations to El Mata for being the red brand universal champion. I think that is just absolutely amazing. If you saw his last promo, it was amazing as always. So let's give it up to El Mata.
Jonesy, we're not going to seriously
show up.
Seriously, we all know how everybody feels about that, Jonesy. I have no idea why you're trying to put your boss over right now. Nobody wants to hear that crap. Zero.
I mean, he is the king of the FWWC. But anyways, let's get some of these callers. All right, so who do we have first, ladies and gentlemen? Let's go ahead and get this gentleman on. He's been on hold for quite a bit of time, and that is the one, the only El Luchador de Kansas City. What's going on, sir?
Hey, how's it going? Night Owl, Nightmare Jones. Good to see you guys tonight.
What is going on, Luchador, man? Thank you for joining us on such a busy week going into Money in the Bank. And it's funny because I was just showing off that brand new hardcore championship that Mata left for me, which, as a matter of fact, it doesn't even belong to him. It belongs to Fallen. But you're one of the 3 people involved in that matchup, Luchador. I'm glad you called in early, man. How are you feeling, man? How excited are you about the belt itself? And what do you think about your chances of bringing it home?
Oh, man, I am looking forward to Sunday night. See, well, you know, and what everybody probably don't know about me and El Matarata, see, we have quite a bit of a series going on here. See, recently, I know it was like a while back, you know, when we were in that Lethal Lottery tag team stuff, him and his partner managed to beat me and my partner at SummerSlam several years back. Then last year, I beat him for the FAC title, and now here we are once again at Money in the Bank. This time it's going to be, well, for that brand new, nice and shiny hardcore championship, I might add, because that's definitely one of the championships that's not on my resume yet, but I will definitely have it around my shoulders come Sunday night.
Well, you know what? I heard through the grapevine sitting out here outside the break room, it sounds like Mata is not going to get out of this without making sure that he stuffs his pockets. So my understanding is that there will be a price tag associated with competing for the hardcore championship. My question is, Luchador, is a price tag or a specific competitor going to stop you from pursuing it?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. That championship is definitely coming to me, and I can definitely put it on my mantle where it should be.
Well, I love to hear that. Nothing's stopping him. Do you hear that, Jonesy? Nothing is stopping the Luchador, and I'm pretty confident he's going to take that belt from your boss. I think he's taking it.
As a matter of fact, I just got a message from El Mata, and you were talking about prices, and this is the prices to go after the hardcore championship. If you're non-La Familia, the price is $500. If you are in La Familia and you go after, not let me finish. If you're in La Familia and you go after the Hardcore Championship, it's $20. So if you're in La Familia,
oh my goodness, no way, no way. Luchador, don't listen to that. That is not official. Do not listen to that.
I've never heard it come out of your mouth, Nightmare Jones.
Nightmare Jones has no authority here.
Your boss at Maserati just to stick it up where it don't shine.
Yeah, exactly.
No concept.
Jonesy, what would you know anyway? You spend all the time downstairs in the basement playing candles. What would you know anyway? Freaking weirdo. Any final thoughts, a Luchador?
Well, my final thought is this. Not only will I be fighting for that Hardcore Championship, but I'm also one of, let's see here, 5 other FWWC superstars fighting for what Daniel Grizz has been holding for quite a while, that Warriors Heart Championship. Now, that's obviously the championship that I've been having my eyes on ever since I first came to this company back in 2015. I know you held it one time, Night Owl, and many other greats have held it, but damn it, this time, I know for sure, is my time to hold the Warriors Heart Championship once and for all.
Wow, Luchador. Well, listen, we'll go ahead and leave you on that note, man, because we do have quite a few more callers remaining in tonight's FWWC segment. Let me remind everybody that the first hour was action-packed. We talked to the D1 champ, Ricky Cruz, who just came off of a huge victory over Mike Outlaw. Obviously, you know, he's getting excited for tomorrow over at Gales or Gateway Harley-Davidson. They've got a tremendous show going on over there. May 25th over at SICW. And then you never know. He said, be on the lookout. You never know he's going to show up, that he may even show up over at New Breed Wrestling on May 18th, which is this upcoming Saturday. That said, guys, I want to encourage you guys, make sure you go to the merch booth, check out the mugs. Same guy that engraved the Hardcore Championship belt is doing the mugs, customized with your name on it for only $20 plus shipping. I do believe we have another caller on the line. Intern Timmy, why don't we go ahead and bring on the Battle Cat, as we are roughly 6 to 7 minutes away for bringing on Adrian Surge, and about 5 minutes from bringing on Big Daddy P for the first time in a long time, guys. So action-packed show. Stick with us. But next we hear from the Battle Cat. Why don't you go ahead and bring him on?
What's going on, Battle Roach? I mean, Battle Cat. How you doing, sir?
Battle Roach.
Funny.
Jeez Louise.
You know, I'm finally making a rare appearance these days because, you know, the Battle Cat's a very, very busy man. And I hear Jonesy just naming all kind of ridiculous prices. You have Luchador sound like he just snorted a whole line of coke. So he's all hyped up and everything.
Oh, dear goodness. But, seriously, Battle Cat.
I'm just
that's what it sounded like.
That's what
the trees in the jungle, they talk.
Will you let the callers talk for a second, Jonesy? Seriously, every time this fantasy wrestling segment starts, you always turn into a huge jerk. Battle Cat, listen, we all know that you are the authority.
I need you to lock Jonesy in the closet whenever I call in. This, you know, this little midget voice, I have to look down just to hear him talking, and it's annoying. It really is.
You're telling me I got to deal with this every single. Well, Battle Cat, just one big question for you, man. You're obviously always in competition for titles. You are the authority on the FWWC Universal Championship. We've seen you made some comments a little bit earlier about potentially going back out for it, man. How do you feel about the current state of the top championship on the red brand?
Or the Universal Championship, the one I just, you know, let it float around, let everybody get a good feel of it before I take it back. You mean that note right there?
Yes, that one.
How do I feel about it? Oh, I know it's coming back to me. Whether it be sooner or later, you know, whenever, but I know I'm getting it back. Because I'm the one that put that title on the map. I did that.
I'm curious, Jonesy, do you disagree with that? Because you know what? I actually agree with Battle Cat. I think he played a huge part in making the Universal Championship what it is today. I mean, come on. Jonesy, you can't disagree with facts.
I mean, somewhat, but you know, it's the Universal Championship is in much better hands right now in El Mata. So you know,
maybe I'm letting them hold on.
It's Battle Cat did the Universal Championship. You know, it still doesn't compare to what El Mata has done for the Universal Championship.
Let me stop you right there, okay? Maybe I'm letting them hold on to it. Being the asshole that I can be, I'm also a very generous man. And this is living proof of it right now. I'm being generous by letting Elmar hold that. Letting him get a feel of it before I snatch it back from him.
Strong words as always.
Right,
well, hey, Battle Cat, thank you so much for those strong words. Listen, Battle Cat is always competing for championships, Jonesy. And at Money in the Bank, that is no difference. Whether he's going for the European title or he's going for the heavyweight championship or whatever it may be, it doesn't really matter. The Battle Cat is always striving to bring people into his den in the deepest, darkest part of the jungle and take them to school. And honestly, man, I would love to see him his fourth reign as the FWWC Universal Champion. That said, I do want to jump over to a man that's been on hold since the beginning of the show. As we are kind of coming to the end of the FWWC segment, we do have to squeeze in Big Daddy P, but don't worry, he's going to come and do his thing in just a matter of moments and always kill it like he does. But before we get to him, we got to get through the rest of the FWWC callers. And then, of course, our second featured guest of the evening, baby, the Dynamo Pro Heavyweight Champion, lights out Adrian Surge, fresh off a huge win over Makaze. He's getting ready for tomorrow night. And then, of course, right on the river in June is going to be crazy. We're going to talk to him all about that. But we want to respect the callers. You guys are why we do this. So let's go ahead and go on over to a man who preaches the gospel no matter where he goes, ladies and gentlemen. He's one of the guys that you underestimate because he's soft-spoken. He doesn't have to curse every other word like some of the other superstars in the FWWC, but you can always hear and feel this man's passion. Ladies and gentlemen, put on your best Sunday clothes because it's time to visit Bishop Brother Devontae D. Bishop, welcome to the show tonight.
Greetings, my brothers. How y'all this evening?
No, let me hear that hum, dude. You got to do it, man. That's the best way. You got to hear that hum, man. I got to hear it, man.
Brother Night Owl, Brother Jones, how y'all doing today?
Greetings.
You know, the bishop has been preparing for this Sunday night. Money in the Bank. 2 matches. I'm pulling double duty. Match number 1 is going to be a rematch between myself and Funky Flex. As you all know, it's the Brown Bear versus the Funky the Fox. And see, I know about Funky Flex. He's cagey. He's slick and fly like that fox in the hen house. But I'm going to tell you this. I can be much more slicker than he can. And if he thinks he's taking my title, then he's got another thought coming. Then it's on to the Money in the Bank ladder match. And Jonesy, I'll be seeing you soon, and very soon. Bishop and Nightmare Jones are going to square up once again for that golden ticket. And I intend on being the one that climbs that ladder and grabs the golden ticket.
Well, listen, Jonesy, I know you want to respond. I know you do. Okay. And I don't want to let you do that. And then we'll have one final caller and then we'll close out this segment. But Bishop, some of the stuff that we've seen from Nightmare Jones recently is borderline demonic. And I feel uncomfortable by it because of my personal beliefs. It looks like he's digging in deeper than he ever has before. And I've only seen this side of Nightmare Jones once before, and that's what helped him capture the FHC on 2 separate occasions within the same calendar year. Is there any part of you whose confidence is maybe wavering a little bit when you see that you're not going into Money in the Bank to face 6 men or 5 men? You're facing off against 4 men and what seems to be this demonic entity in Nightmare Jones. Does it concern you at all? Because it's kind of scary, to be honest with you, and I'm pretty uncomfortable with it.
Well, I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm not going to take Nightmare Jones' life. He and we've had battles before in the past. I know how much of a sick and twisted mind he had. Matter of fact, I still bear the scar from when he shoved the syringe through my face. So I know just how demonic and dangerous it can be. But you see, I've also got a dangerous side of my own. Maybe not to the extent that Nightmare Jones is going, but that side is very deep down in there. Normally you hear the bishop humming, but when the big brown bear, or as I tap into that other side called the Bishop of Beast Mode, comes out, then I take no prisoners. And if anybody stands in my way, much like that brown bear, I plan to maul right through them.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, you love to hear a competitor that's as fired up and is ready to compete as Brother Bishop. And I wanted to ask him actually about this final caller in the FWWC segment, because we've seen a lot of changes, Jonesy, and I know this is going to put a big smile on your face. Marcus Mayhem, El Mata, and all the rest of the gang, they're running roughshod over on Red Brand. And I wanted to know somebody not affiliated, what somebody not affiliated with La Familia felt about all this. Because I know if I asked you, you were just going to crack jokes and talk about how much smarter you guys are than everybody. But we ran out of time with Bishop, so we might as well just ask the man himself. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us for just a few brief moments, we do have the general manager of the Red Brand in the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion, the FWWC, joining us for just a few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in the one, the only Marcus Mayhem, blah, blah, blah.
Brother Marcus, what's going on, sir?
Night Owl need to start putting some respect on my name.
Please save me from the Night Owl.
Fucking bullshit!
Yeah, and talking to us about Almonte once again, like he does every week.
You know, that's what crybabies do, but that's not why I'm here. I'm not here for the Night Owl. I am here for Money in the Bank. And see, after listening to El Luchador, the Explorer, and him ramble and be boring for however long he was on the line, I have to tell Curtis Black, because he's probably not listening. He doesn't call in. I am the best general manager in the game. And I have to tell you, Curtis Black, you have a luchador, Daniel Grimm. I mean, Daniel Grimm's great. I mean, my boy, Hardcore Hoss, but come on. I got Battle Cat. I mean, I got Heel Deal. I got Bishop. I mean, come on. I got three of the top heavyweights in the group going for that illustrious title. And you bring these three guys to the table? Come on.
I think they're very worthy competitors. Mayhem, I completely disagree.
Of course you're going to disagree with me. You're a bum. That's what I'm still.
What do you mean I'm a bum? I'm the boss around here. Don't forget who signs your damn checks, Mayhem.
I don't need your money, first of all. But I will say this, after looking at the current and see that we will keep the lead. We're going to continue to keep the lead. Blue Brand, I hope you're listening, because you guys are nothing but trash. Red Brand is going to continue to run this. I will still lead with my strongest steady hand, Red Brand. We will continue to kick Blue Brand's butt. I dare anybody to challenge me. I will prove you wrong, because I have the best roster in the game. I dare anyone to challenge me. I have El Mata. I have everybody. And we will win this brand battle, because by far I'm better than Curtis Black.
Wow. So let me guess. You're not here to announce any breaking news or tell us about any matches. You're here to waste these last few moments of this segment to tell us about how great you are. I'm freaking shocked. I mean, seriously?
Okay, I do. Actually, can I get the breaking news sound into the team? I know you're listening. Let me get the breaking news.
Wait a minute. So Marcus Mayhem is bossing around our intern now? Seriously?
All right. This just in. Okay, hold on. Let me get my notepad out. This just in. The Night Owl is a crybaby ass scrub. That is breaking news.
What? Get this man off the line. Look, we got real people. We got Big Daddy P for Snippets of Truth coming on in 30 seconds. We got Adrian Surge in a minute and a half. Dude, you seriously? Seriously? This is what you're going to waste everybody's time with? Damn it, I'm sick of you, Mayhem. Wow, did he hang up on me?
Yes, he did.
Wow, the audacity of this man. Does he not know who you know what? I'm not going to get into it. We've already eaten up way too much time from Big Daddy P and Adrian Search. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for all the wonderful people in the FWWC, of course, other than Mayhem. Cheers. Cheers, everybody. Well done. Well done. Well done. And you know what, Jonesy? I've been told many times by many people, oh my goodness, those 25 minutes you guys do during the show with the fantasy segment, I don't get it. It's confusing. Those people don't make any sense. They're out of mind. And then like the other half are like, yo, that's my favorite part of the show. So if you guys don't know what it's all about, go over and visit the FWWC a tab on WrestleTalkPodcast.com. Again, that's WrestleTalkPodcast.com/Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter, the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion. We just introduced a brand new, full-size, 100% customized championship in the group. There's no other Fed out there doing what we're doing. So if you've always wanted to be a pro wrestler, but you can't actually go in the ring and wrestle, whether it be a mental, physical, spiritual, financial, whatever disability you have, if you can't do it for real, but you still want to have that fire, you still want to feel that passion of competition, and you know wrestling, the FWWC is the place to be. Hit me or Nightmare Jones up for more details on that. Or again, visit WrestleTalkPodcast.com/Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter for more info. That said, Jonesy, it is time. I've been waiting. I feel like the dark clouds are dissipating and the sun is shining. And I know we got some music tucked away from a long time ago for our next guest. He's going to join us for about a minute and a half to do something very, very special, something we haven't done in quite a while, and that is the Snippets of Truth. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the first time in a long time, the chaplain of the Wrestle Talk podcast, Big Daddy P.
Where's my theme?
I do not know. Intern Timmy is trying to find that. We are trying to find that, sir.
What
Really?
a shame, but we're not going to waste any more time, my friend. How y'all doing?
What up, Harry?
Good. We missed you too. It's been too long.
Yeah, but listen, we don't have a lot of time. So let's get right to the point. We have one prayer request all the way from West Virginia.
We do.
From Christopher. He's from Martinsburg. He's got a girlfriend. He lost her brother over the weekend, and she wants to pray for her family. So why don't we go ahead and do that?
Well, Perry, I got a prayer request.
And then,
Perry, I got a prayer request. So one of the owners of Journey Pro Wrestling here in Kansas City, they run shows over at Kansas Hall and Overland Park. DJ Stewart was diagnosed with having some sort of tumor. He had a surgery today. So can you please, on the behalf of myself and the whole Wrestle Talk family, pray for DJ Stewart of Journey Pro Wrestling?
absolutely.
Jonesy?
Okay, here we go. Father God, thank you so much for your faithfulness and for your love and all that you do. We can never thank you enough for who you are. Father, we know at a time like this right now with the world and the condition that it's in and the lack of hope, Father, that there are so many people who are needing you. Father, we first want to pray for Christopher's girlfriend who had a loss in their family. And Father, you also know the situation regarding the surgery today. Father, we pray for your divine healing. Father, we know that you and you alone can open every door that needs to be opened, close every door that needs to be closed. I thank you again for bringing us back together once again. Although it was a long time away, we're glad that we're back. And Father, I pray that you bring them from the north, from the south, from the east, and the west with prayer requests, knowing that when they come to Wrestle Talk, not only are they talking about wrestling, but they're also wrestling with spiritual things as well. And you're the only one who wrote the words, "Come to me who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." So we thank you in advance for what you're going to do, and we love you so much. And we ask these things in Christ's name. Amen. Now, here's your snippet of truth, and then I know you got to go. I got a question for you, Renee. You ready?
What do you got, boss man?
In the whole entire world, how many churches are there?
There's just one church.
Bingo! You, my friend, know the truth, and the truth will set you free. There is one church, many places, and he is the one who says, I will build my church. So while we're thinking we're doing all this stuff for God, we have to remember one thing. Without him, we are nothing. And that, my friends, is the truth. Next week, we'll talk a little bit more about something else, which I know
you're coming back next week.
You struggle with it.
I love it.
Religion.
Very, very nice. I'm just happy you're coming back next week, man. I missed you.
Listen, there's a difference between religion and relationship, and we'll get more into that next week. I love you guys.
Love it. Big Daddy P, have a good night. We're going to get your music up to Jonesy. Any thoughts for Big Daddy P before he goes?
Oh, just it is a pleasure to have you back, sir. We definitely missed you, and we can't wait to talk to you again next week.
Remember, next week, religion versus relationship. Have an awesome night.
Love you, Big Daddy P.
Awesome.
Woo! And you know what? We didn't have intro music. We're going to get Big Daddy P's music uploaded again. But I will tell you how I felt when I found out that Big Daddy P was coming back. And he also told me that there's a chance that we may be getting a Mass Saint 2. That's low key. You didn't hear that from me. But you know, we played a big part in promoting the Mass Saint 1, which is a huge hit all over Netflix, all over the world. Okay? But there may be a Mass Saint number 2. And if there is, we're going to continue to play a big part, in partnership with Ridge Rock and all the wonderful actors. You guys know Roddy Piper's last role, while he was alive, was Mass Saint 1. So they're going to keep doing big things. But this is how I felt when I heard Big Daddy P was finally coming back. I know you like that. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our Snippets of Truth segment. Thank you to Big Daddy P. Thank you to all the wonderful people of the FWWC. I know they're crazy, but they fill my life with excitement and energy, dude. These people are so passionate. They are the best wrestling fans in the whole wide world. Again, the FWWC, more info on that at WrestleTalkPodcast.com. All that said, Jonesy, it is time to bring on our final guest of the evening. Oh, my goodness, we're late. But it's all good, because when he steps in the building, it's lights out. Intern Timmy, cue up that music as we welcome back in a residing member of the Wrestle Talk family, the one, the only, the Dynamo Pro heavyweight champion, lights out, Adrian Surge.
Fellas, what's going on?
Champ!
What's going on, sir? How are you tonight?
What up?
Man, I'm fantastic. How about y'all?
Woo!
Doing good. We are doing very, very, very well. And congratulations on becoming the Dynamo Pro Heavyweight Champion. I'm sure that your match with Makaze was a complete bone burner, and it was a amazing match.
Yeah, dude. I would say barn burner. That's probably a good description. I felt like the barn though after it gets torn down by the end of the whole thing. But yeah, it was a crazy battle. Let's put it that way.
But now, okay, since you became the Dynamo Pro Heavyweight Champion, I guess that the question that's on everybody's mind is: are you going to give the Snitch the title defense, the title shot that he has deserved for over 300 days?
Stop it already, Joe.
Right to the Snitch.
So here's the thing. How about this, Jonesy? I'll make this commitment to you. You can call it a Wrestle Talk podcast exclusive. If the snitch will walk up to me, look me in the eye, and ask me, using his words, for a title match, I'll give it to him. You have my word.
He doesn't have that. He deserves a title match. Like, he's owed a title match for over 300 days. He shouldn't have asked.
Oh, seriously? Seriously?
You know, I am the like number one fan in the Snitch fan club.
No, Tuck is his number one fan. Stop it. Can we not talk about the Snitch? Can we talk about Lights Out Adrian Surge, who is killing it all over the Midwest right now?
Absolutely. So how have you been, sir?
Man, I am, still recovering from that chaotic brawl with Makaze. But other than that, things are going, pretty well. I'm getting back into the whole groove of things and, coming back from injury. And I mean, things honestly probably couldn't be going much better for me right now, the way things are going.
Absolutely. Yeah. Since you became the Dynamo Pro heavyweight champion, is there anybody in Dynamo Pro that you are wanting to face? Or you just the type of guy that will face anybody anywhere?
I mean, the classic answer is, I'm willing to take on all comers. I think the coolest part about, where I'm at right now, I want to prove myself. I want to show that I'm, can be a dominant champion. And the fact that, Makaze and the Achilles, the torn Achilles in my heel this entire for the past, over a year, it feels like I haven't really even gotten to sink my teeth into anybody else on the roster. So I'm just looking forward to anybody that's willing to step up and challenge for the championship. There's some newer, younger, hungrier guys, and then there's guys on the veterans from Dynamo Pro that I hadn't even gotten a one-on-one match with. Guys like Mike Outlaw, Ricky Cruz. Like, surprisingly, never had a one-on-one match with them. So I think now, I can't think of a better time to do those kind of matches.
Renee, could you imagine Lights Out Adrian Surge against Ricky Cruz?
Well, I can, and it actually just crossed my mind. I'm like, how has that match never happened? And really, I want to even take it a little bit further than that, Adrian, and you're going to look at me and be like, yo, Renee, I like how you're thinking. So this past weekend, I saw A. Hawkins lose his MWR Missouri title to Hollis Jarreau here in Kansas City. I know it's been a while, Adrian, since you have turned out the lights in Kansas City. How amazing would it be? And I would love to see a D1 champ versus a heavyweight champ, or the SICW champ versus the Dynamo Pro champ. I'd love to see any of that. But, dude, you versus Hollis Jarreau for the MWR Missouri Championship would be huge. And I know Brian Kelly is a listener of the show. A lot of the MWR people still listen to the Wrestle Talk podcast. We love and appreciate the support.
Absolutely.
Guys, tell me that would not be a dope match, because I know you know who Hollis Jarreau is, Adrian Surge, and I think you guys would match up very, very well. What do you think?
I know Hollis really well, probably better than most people believe. And I coming out in Kansas City, me and him ran together, when we were out there. So, he decided he wanted to kind of take things in a different direction, and that didn't sit well with me. So I've got no problem coming in and kicking the doors down and turning his lights out. And, I got space in my bag. I could, I'm fine taking the Missouri Championship home with me.
Would not that be great? Because the last time a Dynamo Pro champion held the Missouri Wrestling Revival Missouri Championship was none other than Ricky Cruz. So you want to talk about bringing things full circle. I think there's many people in the state of Missouri that really do feel like that belt should be on the east side of the state instead of where it resides right now, which is on the west side of the state over here in good old KC, man. I would absolutely love to see that, but we can only hope and we can only pray. Presently, though, you've got quite a few people that I know are vying for an opportunity to face you. I don't necessarily know if you're defending your championship tomorrow night, but I know that you're well aware of everything that is happening tomorrow over at Gateway Harley Davidson. Can you tell us a little bit about what Jim and Crystal, the gang over there, have planned at Dynamo Pro tomorrow night?
Man, we're really excited. You know, this is going to be the first round of shows that we're going to be, you know, running there. And so I've put in the request. I want to defend my championship tomorrow. I want to make a huge statement, you know, in a new area, hopefully drawing some, you know, some new fans around. I want to make that as big as possible. And you got some huge names that are going to be there too. Got some young, hungry kids that are going to be there, you know, wanting to make a statement with some of the, you know, the more experienced guys there. You know, I'm out to make whatever I'm a part of better. To give you an example, you know, we did the whole Riot on the River tournament. I won that the first year that we did that, and then next year, you know, I wanted to expand the field even more. We went from 8 participants to 16. So I'm not about making things easy. I'm not about making shortcuts for myself. If anything, I want to build upon anything that I or the companies that I'm working for are able to do and make it as big and as entertaining as possible.
All right, bro. So I got a quick story for you, and I know you can absolutely relate. So my last trip to St. Louis was a couple of months ago, but the previous trip was January, March, April. So it was April of 2018. In one day, I got to do with my buddy, and I know you know this guy, a gentleman by the name of Rick Maverick, right? Rick Price, great, absolutely wonderful guy, wonderful family. So we went Anarchy, Dynamo, Anarchy in the same night. And then the following day, I drove up to Central Illinois and went over to a Proving Ground Pro show. But being able to ride in my pickup down the river from Anarchy to Dynamo and then back to Anarchy, like that is a memory that it was like a 15, 20, maybe 25-minute drive. That was something that will always stick with me. Sitting in the car with my buddy Rick, we're driving down the road. You know, we've had a couple of cold ones and we're having this great conversation, man. And when we pull up to the venue on the river, where Dynamo does their shows on the river, is there any other venue that you can compare that? Because I know there's some venues in St. Louis that get a lot of notoriety, that are very well known, but dude, is there a cooler effing spot to wrestle than where you guys do the Riot on the River shows? Because I think, like, you literally look to the right and there is the river, dude. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's yeah. There's no you know, no deception there at all. It's Riot on the River. It's literally like I could have tossed, you know, Makazi's, you know, punk stuff over, you know, in the river itself, and we could have, you know, reenacted some cool scenes from, you know, past wrestling. But
heck yeah,
I mean, yeah, there's so many cool historic venues and different things that get run in St. Louis. It's really cool to see, you know, branching out into more of, you know, a scenic kind of spot where you've got, you know, the bar, you've got a really cool venue, and then you've got like just the breeze that comes off of the river, like nothing kind of, I mean, that got me fired up for when I won the very first Ride on the River. So I love that place. I mean, it definitely always holds a very special place in my wrestling career.
Dude, it is a dope spot. And I know that the folks over at Dynamo, they're known for doing different venues. I know you were a part of a Cinco de Mayhem. Let me ask you about that. You're in the middle of a very, very historic part of St. Louis. There's people all over the place. Most of them have a Corona in their hand, okay? And you guys are right there. I remember 2 years ago I was there and got an opportunity to see you. It was just briefly right before you got hurt or whatever it was. But, dude, that in itself is a dope spot, right? How does that compare to the river, man, and how much do you enjoy when the ring – there's no chairs. There's 500 people, like, literally packed up against the ring. Does that bring the intensity level up, man, and how does it compare to the venue on the river?
Oh, it fires you up. You know, the river is just a really cool place to just kind of take a deep breath and kind of be like, we're doing this. Like, this is really awesome. It's cool, kind of for some self-reflection. With Cinco de Mayhem is the exact opposite. It's chaos. It's energy. It's
no chairs, bro.
And the people, I mean, they're into it. As soon as the bell rings and like you guys, you know, whether you lock up or whatever, like as soon as the competitors touch, like the crowd's into it. And it's one of the coolest things is when I'm in there and I can see, you know, 400 building to 500 to, you know, you can really see people start to pack in and try to find, you know, an area where they can see. And, you know, as soon as you know, the whole entire block's full. So I'm sure the vendors around were very, very appreciative because there was definitely a lot of tacos and lots of Coronas going around. So I'm sure everybody kind of benefited from that. But man, just that energy, there's not a lot of places and a lot of times where I've felt that kind of just pure, just excitement to see violence. to be quite honest with you, those people came to see, you know, people put on one heck of a show and to beat each other up, and my God, we did that.
Dude, no doubt. And when you get to do it in front of a crowd like that, it just takes the stakes up so much higher. And you know, before I throw it back over to Joe, I guess I did want to hit you with my final question. Dude, this whole thing with Mikaze, I can tell you that early last year, I had an opportunity to run two very successful shows, I might add, with Justin Elijah over at GWF. And one of the guys that I wanted to make sure that I brought in, for better or for worse, was Mikaze. And he made the trip from your neck of the woods to my neck of the woods, and he participated in our very first show. And I'm telling you something, man, there's an aura about this dude, not just in the ring, but kind of in the locker room. There's a certain kind of guys that will gravitate towards him, and you can always see him kind of like, you know, whispering in their ear and sharing, you know, some of that wisdom, some of that knowledge. Though you always have to be careful with a guy like that, because you never know, well, he'll go from mentor to being an enemy. And I think you can kind of relate to that a little bit because you've been around Mikaze, being, you know, in your time that you guys shared Louis as a hometown. So as you were going through this battle with him and eventually, you know, captured the heavyweight championship, how did it mess with you psychologically? How did it help you grow? And how did you end up being able to figure him out? Because from what I understand, this dude is like a Rubik's Cube. Like when you think he's going to do one thing, he does another. And that's the reason why he's been who he is for so many years and is so well respected in the Midwest, even though, you know, sometimes his tactics are questionable. The dude's spitting fireballs at Chris Rodell and, you know, doing all that kind of crazy stuff, right? But that's all part of what makes Mikaze.
Yeah, you know, it's a lot of disbelief. You know, actually looking back now, I think I'm finally starting to get some closure from the entire thing. I'm sure it'll get better over time, but I mean, it's weird. It's like a flip of a switch. You know, when I met him, it was kind of like you're talking about. Certain guys, you know, when they start out in the business, you know, tend to gravitate toward him. There's experience there. There's stories. There's knowledge. There's all that.
Dingo, Ricky Cruz, Jake Durden, guys like that. Absolutely.
And so, like, to be honest, I don't think I would be half as successful in my career as I am right now without him and doing that. Because once I met him, you know, I started, you know, traveling with him and, you know, picking his brain, and, you know, I started seeing kind of success, and I started living kind of who I was, but, you know, with some of the things that I was learning, you know, and I just kind of on a rise, you know, a couple championships here and there, won the big ride on the river tournament. And then, you know, out of nowhere, like literally nowhere, he cost me the opportunity at the D1 championship, and things just continue to spiral down.
Wow.
You know, to the point where I'm not, I mean, not even just like, you know, complete betrayal, but like it affected my personal life. Like because of his actions, like I broke my collarbone. Like I couldn't hold my kid like in the hospital. Like,
I saw that, bro. I know that was a tough stretch of your life, man. Not just for professional wrestling wise, but like personally.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, I don't know. It's not the easiest thing to talk about, but at the same time, like it happened, and coming to terms with it, I think helped, you know, my comeback and being successful. And, you know, and it's a lot of things that I learned from him. Like the resolve mentally. Like had I not traveled with him and learned from him, I think this would have affected me more. Yes, how my head was psychologically. And first, it wasn't great at all. But coming back, I don't know if I've ever been as focused as I am now. Both in the ring, in the gym, just making myself better each and every day. Because then I get to come home, and I mean the coolest moment of all this, of all the heartache and the pain, and is overcoming this giant obstacle. And then, I got to post this because I have the picture, but, my kid, he's like 5 months old. He's he's got like the Dynamo heavyweight championship, in his lap, and just like that smile on his face, literally made everything worth it. And that shit, it's just a cool full circle moment of, life's gonna take a dump on you sometimes. It's what you do with it and how you make yourself better that really shows your resolve and your dedication to whatever you're doing. So it's been a journey is a little bit of an understatement.
Sounds like it. Jonesy, why don't you jump in here with any final thoughts or question you might have for the Dynamo Pro heavyweight champion, lights out Adrian Surge?
I do. I just have one quick question. Not only did you have issues with Makaze, but you also have sort of a issue, according to Twitter, with my buddy and Renee's buddy, Buddy Shepard, and I want to know why you haven't let.
Oh, seriously? Come on, man.
Well, I haven't let Buddy in.
I'm not letting Buddy in ever. Vaseline or no Vaseline,
people
he's
seem
not
to have
getting
taken a liking to him, and I don't know if it's just like that. I don't know what fabric softener he uses, but those clothes are like super white. It rubs me the wrong way. I just don't trust it. So I mean, as soon as I found out that was going to be the matchup, I was like, I'm not even going to shake this guy's hand. Like I just can't trust that whole thing. So
I wouldn't.
And then I'm just out there trying to impress Greg. That's my whole thing. That's my life. Like that's where I found success. And he decides to steal my phone and videotape me getting beat up. I just don't find that very classy. I just don't think a buddy would do that to you.
That's not a very buddy thing to do. I agree.
It is not. And I do have one more question before.
Man, if you ask me about Snitch again, we're gonna have issues.
Do not ask him about Snitch again. Do you hear me, Jonesy?
I'm actually gonna ask you about it's the same thing that I asked Ricky Cruz. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but recently there was this past weekend there was a incident that happened at a wrestling promotion where a guy was wrestling another guy, and he decided to shoot on the guy and tried to choke him out and took him to the outside and picked him up and dropped him on his head. And as a professional wrestler, what are your thoughts when that kind of stuff happens?
So, yeah, I know what you're referring to. I've seen it multiple times. I've been asked about it multiple times. I think the key in everything that you're talking about right now, and you just said it, is professional. We're professional wrestlers. There was nothing in that entire exchange that was professional. I don't care. I mean, hell, Makaze freaking broke a collarbone and ruined the first moment I had with my kid. If anything incites unprofessional behavior, I think that would. But I don't know what happened. I don't know if there was an issue in the back. Who knows? But I don't care who you are. You're there to put on a show. You're there to entertain the fans. You're there to do the best damn job that you can do. And that did not happen. I take personal offense to that. Like, that offends me for what I do and the work that I put in every day. And for someone to take that, shove it, and flush it down the toilet, just it pisses me off, quite honestly. I hope that guy, I hope that punk just decides to just take the classy way out and just not do this anymore, because that's unacceptable. And I hope people treat it as such.
Yeah,
I totally agree. And I'm kind of like with what Renee said is I don't know how the guy like the guy he obviously had issues with the guy, but he sat in the back and didn't say anything. You know, they went over their match and stuff and didn't say anything. And then they get into the ring, and I don't know how he was able to do that. Like I don't think I would you know, if I had issues with somebody, I'd take care of it in the back. I'll shoot. There's no way that I'd be able to wait all the way until we got into the wrestling ring. You know,
it's calculated. There was intent there. It's not okay at all. I don't care how much you dislike the person. I don't care what the issue was. You take care of that in the back, in person. You do not abuse the privilege that we give each other of taking each other's life in our hands. Not okay. You know, the best thing that I think you can do is just respectfully walk away and not, you know, influence the business that a lot of us love any further.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. Is there anything else that you wanted to add when we let Adrian Silge go tonight?
Yeah, man. So just relating to that issue, all I can say is this. I guarantee you there was at least one family in that audience that was there for the first time. And I guarantee you that family will never, ever, 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 ever go to another wrestling show again because of that dude. And that is the worst part of it all, because we all know, everybody on this phone call and everybody listening to the Wrestle Talk podcast knows how hard it is to get butts in seats. You have to do stuff to the level that Adrian Surge does it and put his neck on the line every single time to garner a good audience. And for that to go to waste because of the actions of one person, the vengeance in the sadistic mind of one person, that's just a damn shame. I hate that. I hate that, and I wish it would have never happened. And like you said, Adrian, I hope that he does the classy thing, which there's no evidence that he's going to do classy thing, but I hope he does the classy thing and just walks away from the business and just let bygones be bygones, call it a day, and never come back to the business. That said, two quick things, Adrian, because I like to know people a little bit more personally before we close out tonight's show. So a couple of quick questions. Number one, give us a song that you're currently or that you listen to today, because I know you're a big music fan. So give us one song that you listen to today.
Man, I'll just be straight up honest with you. I've been rocking out to the Avengers Endgame soundtrack. I'm not gonna lie, that there's some stuff on there that just got me really, really pumped. If you guys haven't seen a movie, or if you guys are into that,
twice
seen it. If not, definitely need to. But man, just needed some extra oomph today. So yeah, that's what I've been rocking. It's been pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, awesome. Question number two: what is your favorite fighting game of all time?
Favorite fighting game. I'm just gonna be straight up with you. I suck at like literally every one of them. I remember there was a stretch there where I wrote down. I was riding with Mikey BMOC for a while, and I mean he whooped me at like literally everything we would play. We'd play like Street Fighter, or even like all the old wrestling games like WrestleMania 2000, all that stuff. I mean he just whooped me. It wasn't even fair. So
are you traumatized, really sure. Adrian? You sound a little traumatized.
So yeah, so bad. Like it's embarrassing. So I'm just gonna just fully admit to it. I'm not even gonna try to lie it. There's no point. I will throw out there an old school game that I really like. And it did technically have a fighting mode, but the story mode is actually still my favorite stuff. And if Farmer Billy Hills is listening, he owes me a round of this game. But the old SNES Ninja Turtles in Time game.
Yes, bro. That is a great game. Absolutely.
Literally could play that 500 times, never get bored. Love it. I don't know why.
Good.
Farmer, if you're listening,
the arcade version.
We still need to play.
The arcade version is just as good.
Fantastic.
No doubt. All right, last question, man, and we'll have to have you back on for the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge, because we have definitely gone over on time today. That was more our fault than your fault because of the previous segment. So it's all good. Last thing, dude. Best toasted Ravs in St. Louis. Go.
Oh, man,
that's a rough one.
That's a really, really tough one. Okay, so I'm biased towards emos. I won't lie, but for the entire experience, I'm a fan of Rich and Charlie's because of the sauce that you dip it in. I'm pretty sure it's like laced with crack or something. I'm not really sure, but I'm telling you, you can't really find much of a better experience than that. So definitely underrated. So go to Rich and Charlie's.
Rich and Charlie's, ladies and gentlemen. If he tells you that the toasted wraps are good, the man would know. He grew up in St. Louis, and he is your Dynamo Pro heavyweight champion. Lights out, Adrian Surge. Adrian, before you go, last thing, tell people where you're going to be in action next and how they can follow you on social media, man.
Absolutely. As we've been talking about tonight, tomorrow night, Thursday, 6 o'clock at the Harley Davidson in St. Louis. It's going to be awesome. I want to start things off with my reign in style. I want to defend my championship, go anywhere and everywhere that I can. So I'm really excited to kind of start this whole thing. And then the Ride on River series is coming up as well. So check out Dynamo Pro Wrestling. All the dates and all the events will be posted there. Feel free to follow me on any social media that y'all have. Facebook, Adrian Surge. Twitter, @Adrian Surge. Instagram, Adrian Surge. See a pattern here. I put some stuff on YouTube. Just search Adrian Surge. And you'll find some stuff. I try to keep it updated and switch it out every so often. So if you want to see some of the stuff I'm doing, feel free to check out any of those things. Happy to interact, and I'm glad because I'm at the Dynamo Pro Dojo right now, so I'm just helping out tonight. So excited that we got to talk for a little bit, though.
Yes, and you know what? Something that you won't say, but I will. Adrian Surge is the dude that if you message him or comment on his stuff, he will respond. Like, that is lights out Adrian Surge. That is your champion. Adrian, I've always loved that about you. You've never lost touch with why you started doing this. And it's A, because you love it. And number two, because you want the fans to appreciate the sport that we all love so, so much. Thank you for being here, bro. We hope to talk to you again down the road. And more than anything else, man, please stay healthy out there.
Absolutely will do. Pleasure talking to you guys anytime you want me. Bring me on for the 4th, 5th, 25th time. Happy to talk to you anytime.
Hey, get better each time, baby. You take it easy. Lights out.
Take it easy, y'all.
Peace.
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 Jonesy, what do you think, man? You think we did a good job or what?
I think so, and I'm really, really happy the microphone worked. It didn't shut off on me. I am still on Skype, so I am good. I think we're good to go, and once the audio is uploaded, I'll take a listen to it and see if it sounds any better. I think definitely a lot more clear. But yeah.
No doubt. Love to hear it, man. And you know what? Everything sounds good on my end as well. I want to remind everybody that this is your last call for the brand new free Seth Rollins t-shirt. It's a medium, but it could fit somebody that would fit a large. It's actually pretty awesome. It's the good quality, not like some of the stuff that's being produced right now. All you got to do is subscribe to the YouTube channel, okay? And then click that little bell that's right by subscribe. We are shooting for 100 subscribers by the end of the week, and the only way we can make that happen is with the support of the Wrestle Talk family. Intern Timmy, go ahead and cue up some music here for just a second. Let me say this on the way out, Jonesy. Another great show. I know we stumbled a little bit at the beginning, but that's fine. I know YouTube was being a punk today, but that's fine because ultimately, dude, the passion, the love, the affinity, the appreciation that we have for this business and the people that have shown us love, it always shines through regardless of some of the technical issues that we might have. That's why we continue to do it. That's how we keep rolling, baby, towards episode 250 of the Wrestle Talk podcast coming up in just a couple of weeks. For now, all I can say is this: WrestleTalkPodcast.com. Get yourself a mug. And remember, we do it for you, Wrestle Talk family. Nightmare Jones, you take it easy, brother. I want to go ahead and encourage everybody to visit their local independent promotion. And when you get there, tell them the Wrestle Talk podcast sent you, baby. We'll be back talking Money in the Bank next week on Wednesday, baby. Close us out, Jonesy. Peace.
All right. There's only one way to close this out tonight, and that is the theme song of the greatest man ever to walk the FWWC, El Mata. Viva la raza!
I like this song. It's a good song. I can't even hate.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.